Okay, can you hear me? Just reply if you can hear me. Just reply yes. Okay. So today we will just see a game, and we'll try to analyze it. Let me open the game first. Okay. So this is the game which I'm going to show you. So with the white pieces, player name is Tigran Petrosian, one of the well-known player, and black pieces playing by Nikolay Sorokin. So the game begins with c4. This is the English opening. Black reply here is knight f6. So here black has many options. He can go with the symmetrical, that is c5. He can also play e5. So black has so many options against the English c4. So in this game, we will see with knight f6. Black reply knight f6. White plays knight to c3. So again, black can go with e5. He can also go with the King's Indian setup by playing G6 and transpose it into a King's Indian opening. But here black played C6, so white played D4. Now this is converted to that queen's pawn game. Mostly if black plays D5, it will be a slab variation. So let's see what black played here in response to D4. So black played here D5. So this is a well-known opening. Uh, if you play D4, if you are a D4 player, then you must have come across this type of moves. D5, it's now white can play knight F3 here. He can simply capture this pawn. He can play E3. Okay, he has other options like G3, going for the Catalan. So in this game, white captured this D pawn, CD, and knight to F3. Black here played knight C6, then bishop to F4, bishop F5, developing the bishop. So we are like still now in the opening preparation. Uh, this is the all the opening moves. As you can see, all the pieces are symmetrical. Knight is on C6, C3, F6, F3, bishop F5, bishop F4. White still has to develop his bishop on F1. Black needs to develop his bishop on F8 and castle. So after B5, white plays E3, a simple logical move. Wants to develop his bishop. He can play bishop B5 or bishop D3, exchanging the light square bishop. Black here played queen to B6, which is uh, an inaccuracy as per the engine. Why it is an inaccuracy? Because the queen is developed on B6 square, where it can be attacked by the knight on A4, but not now because there is a check of queen A5. So black here can play bishop, white here can play bishop E2, short castle. That or he can exchange the bishops, bishop D3, bishop D3, queen D3. If he takes, he cannot take queen into B2 because of rook B1 after the bishop gets captured. If bishop after the light square bishops are exchanged. So queen B6 is not that much good. So here white played A3, black replied E6. So black also wants to develop his bishop. Most probably the only square available is bishop E7, bishop to D3. So white is trying to exchange his light square bishop with the black's most active light square bishop, because this light square bishop is controlling the entire B1 and H7 diagonal. So white wants to get rid of this bishop on F5, bishop D3, queen D3, rook to C8, short castle. So now we are entering into middle game. The opening moves are done. We have completed 11 moves for white. So now black has so many options here. He can develop his bishop to E7, or he can like go back his queen to E7, because the queen is not doing much on B6. He has other plans, bringing his knight to A5 and he can jump to C4. And in the game, black played knight A5. Now, in move number 8, white played A3. So, what was the logic behind this move A3? Black, in some point, wanted to play B4. So, that's why he played A3, preparing for B4. So, what black has done? Black has played knight F5, and he has provoked white to play B4. Now, I can easily play B4 and gain a tempo. So, after knight A5, uh, there is a pawn break also. I can play B4, I can play rook C1. But here in this game, white played e4, direct attacking the center. So if after e4, d cross e4, now what will happen if queen takes b2? Just pause, just write down your moves in the chat. What will happen if queen takes b2? I'm closing this engine. How the queen is trapped? Uh, Suppose, okay, b4, if queen takes b2, how will you trap this queen? I don't think the queen is trapped, but white will get attacking chances. Rook f3-1. Your knight is hanging on c3. Rook, with the help of rook, the queen captures the knight. So rook f1 doesn't work. Think properly, don't do blunders. These are silly blunders. So you see, you cannot attack the queen immediately. Queen takes b2, you cannot attack the queen. First of all, why? Because your knight is under attack. So you have to do something, protect your knight. And that move will protect the knight as well as create threats for black. Not immediately, but 2 or 3 moves later. So I want the correct move for white. Yeah, bishop d2. Good. So here, bishop d2 is the correct move. You are protecting your knight as well as you are threatening rook fb1. Now this queen can be trapped if the queen doesn't move. So obviously, in this, after bishop d2, black can go back his queen to b6. Black can move his queen to b6, and there comes ed. See, he cannot take now because if it takes, then there comes queen f5. This rook is hanging. Here it goes queen c6. Then there comes knight b5. So as you can see, Indian is also suggesting it's +3, +4. So it's difficult for black to protect his position. There are so many attacking chances. The knight is hanging. The pawn is under attack. There is a fork on e7. King is open in the center. Rook e1 is coming. So lot of threats are there. So therefore, queen d2 It's not a good option for black. And sorry, queen b2 is not correct move in this position. You cannot take this free pawn. So here white played after e4, e pawn, d captures e4, knight captures e4. You can capture this knight, but after knight captures, queen captures, white is having a very strong center. So here black went to knight d5, attacking the bishop on f4. White played bishop g3, supporting his bishop and controlling this diagonal, h2 and b8 diagonal. Bishop, so queen comes to b3. Now black wants to exchange his coin. So once the coins are exchanged, all the weaknesses in the black's position will be covered, and black can play on the light squares because if we see white's position, the light squares are weak because on f5 he can place his knight on f5, knight e7, knight f5. He can bring his bishop or to e7, d8, supporting this knight. Then go to b6, bishop e7, d8, b6, knight e7, f5. All such of maneuvering moves are there once the queens are exchanged. So in this position, it's not good to exchange your queen. Also, there is a common principle. If you have an isolated pawn in the center, maybe on e4 or t4, you should avoid going into an endgame, because if white goes into an endgame in this case with an isolated pawn on d4, mostly what will happen in the endgame, this d4 pawn will be captured and it's a losing endgame for white. So whenever you are having an isolated pawn in the center, you should avoid going into an endgame and stay in the middle game. Keep as many pieces on the board as possible and try to initiate an attack as early as possible. Don't exchange pieces and go to an endgame, because in most cases isolated pawn endgames are losing for whosoever is having that isolated pawn. It's a losing position for that player. So in response to queen b3, you should protect your queen and go to d2. From d2, it keeps an eye on g5 square, where from where it can initiate an attack on the king side once the king is castled, and also it is attacking the knight on a5. So see, I told you earlier, knight a5 is not a good move. It's a mistake. Why it's a mistake? Because you are keeping your knight on a5, from where it is protected by the queen on b6. So once you move the queen, your knight on a5 will be hanging, which can be attacked by the opponent, and your opponent can gain a tempo. So now white has gained a tempo by playing queen d2 and attacking the knight on a5. Now knight jumps to c4. Now again this knight is attacking your queen on d2. So now this queen went to g5, from where it can keep an attack on king side. This g7 pawn is under pressure. Now black cannot develop his bishop because of g7 is hanging. So you are keeping a pressure on your opponent's position. Last class I have told you. Oh, you should always keep that pressure. You should always keep the pressure. Never release the pressure for your opponent. So by playing queen g5, what I have done, I have delayed my opponent's development. Now my opponent cannot develop his bishop. He cannot castle. Whereas white has developed all his pieces. He has castled. Uh, he can take the pawn on b2, but I have rook f1, queen e2, and I can capture rook b7. My rook also like joins the seventh rank. So still taking b2 not be that much good. So after queen g5, black played here pawn h6, attacking the queen. So I have several options. I can go back go back my queen to pawn c1. I can go to h5. But remember, in last class I told you the principle. You should always move your pieces forward. Never go backward unless until it is necessary or there is no other way. if there is way, always try to keep your pieces forward towards your opponent's camp. Always try to look for an attacking move. So in this case, if you follow the principle, the best option is queen g4 because it will keep that pressure on g7. Black will not be able to develop his bishop, and you are following the same following that principle of going forward, keeping your pieces forward towards the opponent camp. Queen g4, pawn to h5. Again, he has attacked your queen, and again I will go back to the original square, that is g5. Rook comes to h6. Now this rook wants to attack this queen from g6. Black has covered the g6 square now and is preparing f7 f6. He's also preparing f7 f6. Now this queen cannot give check from g6 queen. Why? Because the rook is on h6. So rook h6, there's a logic. He has controlled the g6 square. Now black can play f6 and attack this queen, and queen has to go back to c1 because there are no other squares left for this queen. So again, you have, after this move rook a6, you have to develop a prophylactic thinking. You have to identify why my opponent has played rook h6. There are several like moves he can do. He cannot play rook g6 because of h5 is hanging. So most probably his plan is to play f6. He wants to play f6 and attack the queen. Then my queen have to go back to c1. So that is the main uh, thing behind this move, rook h6, which you have to identify. So after rook h6, there is no other way I can stop f6 because I don't have any pawn on g5, e5. There is no pawn on e5, so I cannot stop it. But I can develop. I can develop my piece. There is on another square that is on h4. I have h4 available for my queen. Once black play f6, I can place my queen on h5. I can still keep the pressure on h5 pawn because this rook cannot move unless the black plays g6. So I am developing my rook here. Rook f, sorry, not rook f. I am developing this rook a e1, c1. Rook a c1. Sorry, here white played rook e1, rook a e1. He brings his a rook, but like white again played this move, rook a e1. A simple move bringing one more piece into the battle. So all, as you can see, all his pieces are on the king side. His knight is on e4, f3, bishop g3, queen g5, and this rook was on a1. So what Tigran has done? He has brought his another rook, that is rook on a1 to e1, where this rook will join directly the king side attack. You will keep an indirect threat on the king on e8 because the king has not yet castled, and it is not possible anymore for the king to castle. The king is on center, so you have to launch an immediate attack towards the king when the king is not castled and is on the center. So there is another principle: bring all your pieces into the attack. Don't keep any of your pieces idle. The more pieces will join the attack, the more strong will that attack will be. Rook a1, knight b2. Knight takes b2. Now I play white played knight f to d2, attacking the queen. So queen goes to b5. Then I have f4. So here white played f4. The pawn plays a role of a battering ram, which will knock down the flimsy fortifications in a way of white's major pieces. So white, in some point later stage, he wants to double up his rook on f5 maybe, or he wants to play f5, breaking the center and exposing black's king. Yeah, so after f4, black played rook g6. Yes, this is blunder. Rook g6 is giving us this h pawn. Rook h6, then queen to f3. queen to d3. Again, black is trying to exchange his queen. White will avoid it. Queen f2, protecting his isolated pawn in the center. Pawn to f5. He's blocking the f5 push. Sorry, I have skipped, I missed one more. Here after queen f2, black played g6, not f5. He played g6, avoiding the f5 move. But this is a blunder because he has weakened his king side. He has weakened the pawn structure here, which can be easily exposed by exploited by white. And he's also blocked his rook's path. That is, his rook can go to g6 later on, but by playing g6, he has blocked his rook. White here played f5. So see, uh, again he's sacrificing a pawn. In return, what will happen? He cannot take this pawn with the pawn because the king is on the e file, which is indirectly attacked by the rook. There is a discover check knight c5 if it takes with the e pawn. So if it takes with the g pawn, what will happen? If g takes f5, if g takes f5, then okay, I should switch off the engine. This is very simple. Queen f5 tactic. Queen f5. If you takes, then you can write down the move. If takes, he takes f5. Yeah, discover check, but from where? The knight can go to f6, d6, c5, g5. But from where should I give that check? Knight f2. Knight check. But knight f2. See, you want to take this queen, but this queen is supported by the knight on b2. So you are a piece down. Once the king move, let's say yeah, d8. If you takes, then black will capture with this knight. So you are a piece down now. Just think for some time. What should be the correct reply after? Like you should think it before playing queen f5. Before playing queen f5, you should think how will I take the initiative? If queen f5 really works or not. That you should think before playing queen f5. If this queen would not have been supported by this knight, if this queen is isolated, in that case knight f2 or even knight c5 works because you can capture a pawn on center f5. This double you can make a double pawn on f5, but this queen is supported by this knight on b2, so it's not possible. Then what will white do after queen takes e takes? See now. Queen f5, e f5. There's knight f6 check. Knight f6 check. You are controlling d7 square. Now the king cannot escape here. The only square left for the king is d8. So it is mate in 1. Now I guess you can see what will happen after knight f6 check. So it is actually mate in 2 after e takes f5. It is mate in 2. You should have identified that. See, the king is almost like trapped from d8. From d8, it cannot go to c7 because the bishop is controlling this diagonal. It cannot go to b7 because the knight is controlling the d7 square. So when the king has very few squares left, you should look for immediate check. Yeah, rook e8. So rook e8 is mate. So you should have identified it before, even before playing queen f5. So queen f5, e takes f5, knight f6, king d8, or d8 mate. Okay. So black cannot take this queen now. Black is giving a check. Queen takes d4 and check. King h1. Now can he take? Again, he cannot take this pawn because still now that knight f6 is coming. So what black did? He developed his bishop to d7. See, the bishop is developed on move number 26 after like almost finishing the middle game. Sorry, completing the opening, entering the middle game. The black bishop developed at move number 26. So why this has happened? Because white has kept a constant pressure on the king side, due to which this bishop was not able to develop. Again, simple queen f7, check, king d7. Now suggest a move for white. I will not play now. I will ask moves from you. What can white play here in this move? The king is almost exposed. Black's pieces are not well coordinated, whereas white's pieces are fully coordinated. So now how can white proceed? Always remember the principles which I told you, principle of moving forward, principle of attack. Always you should look for move that will create immediate attack to opponent's pieces. So how should white continue from here? Knight f6, knight f6, knight f6. You're giving free piece. Knight f6, knight f6, rook f6. I guess. Yeah, knight f6. If you rook f6, rook f6. You're giving a free piece, I guess. Knight f6 is a blunder. One, two, three. Three pieces are controlling the f6 square. Bishop cannot move because it is pinned, but still black has three pieces defending the f6 square. And you have one, two, three. One, two, sorry, one, two, yeah, three pieces, queen, knight, and two. So, knight will come. So you have only two pieces that is supporting this F6 square, attacking the H6 square. So this is the blunder. So you cannot take with this rook. You can take with this queen. Rook. So you are not looking for attack. Simple attacking moves. Knight 3. Knight f3. I'm attacking the queen now. I'm forcing this queen to move from this d file. So now see, this queen can go to b6, but again b6 is not good because I have rook b1 pinning this knight and rook f2, and this knight will be captured. So this queen cannot go to c4. Maybe it can, no, he cannot go to c4 because of this knight e4. So it's better for him to move the queen from this d file because the d file is open and the king is also on d7. So there can at some point, if this knight moves, there can be rook d1. So it's better to move the queen from the d file, open d file. Queen h8. So here black played queen h8. So again find a move for white. Just remember, you should look for moves that will create attack. Knight a. What is knight a? Na. What is that? 1a. What is na? Knight f6. Knight f6, and then idea is queen e6. Okay, if I play knight f6, then I can capture with this queen. E6 is supported, so it will not work. You are not looking for attacking moves. Bishop e5. I'm directly attacking the queen. Bishop e5. So queen h7. Exchange of black is intending to exchange his queen. And I guess you have to exchange in this case because there are no squares left for this queen. Okay, so you have to exchange. Only move is exchange. Queen h7, rook h7. Now here comes bishop b2. Okay. So that bishop e5 is winning move. So that's why I told you should look for attack. So it is a fork, bishop fork. Bishop e5. You are attacking the queen as well as the knight. So once the queen move, captures, bishop takes knight. So you are a piece up now. Now it is like clearly winning for white. So game just continued with rook c2, bishop d4, bishop cross d3, knight e5 check, king d8, knight g5, knight g5, rook h5, knight e6, king e7, and knight g6 check, king d6, knight gf4, exchanging the other knight, knight f4, knight f4, and then black resigned in this position because it's two passer and this exposed centralized king would be very difficult for black to play. So here black resigned. Okay. Before knight f3, suggested knight f6, then queen e6 idea. Okay, let's go back. So here you told knight f6. Okay. So what will happen? I will take with rook. I will take with rook and protect the e6 pawn. Your queen is also under attack. See, now it is winning for black. It's a blunder. Don't play such moves. Don't give one more threat. What will happen? Even if you take queen into e6, what will you get? King will go to d8, and then there are no checks. There are no checks from d8. So don't play such type of foolish move because you will not gain anything after queen. Even if you get queen into e6, you will not gain. So you can. So this is from English Open. This game is from English Open. You can learn something about this opening. I can share you this knowledge. So this is some insights about English opening. How should you play this? What type of plan you should have, and what type of plan black should implement in case of English opening. See knight f6. If he plays the knight f6 here in response to c4, okay, black keeps their options open with this move. After a d4 advance, the game may transpose into an Indian defense. So again, if he plays d4, he can transfer to any of the. He can go for kings India. He can go for normal e6 and then go India defense. Bishop b4, or he can go with queens India on knight c3 on b6. So there are many possibilities against this c4. Okay, so I can share you this game. Once again, you can look at this game and try to analyze, try to understand in detail why white has played this move, why black has played this move, and try to gain some knowledge from this game because from every game you will learn something new. As many game as you see, you will learn something new, some new tactics, or maybe some new positional ideas from a particular opening. So if you play English opening, mostly it will go into a positional play. So you will get some positional ideas from this opening. Okay, so now I will give one position for you to solve. So this is the last position. After this, we can wrap up our class. My favorite opening with white is D4. I play D4 only. Uh, there is one game and chess database. You can check that game. It is available in my database. Google, you can type. You can check my game. There is one game which I have won with white pieces by playing D4. D4 is a completely positional opening. If you play D4, you should be positionally very strong because you can get tactics also, but most of the time you will get positional play if you play D4. And if you want to play tactically very sharp lines, then you should play E4. But again, playing E4, you should have knowledge about all the openings because you can get French, you can get Caro-Can, you can get Burke. Okay, there are lots of opening. You can get E4, E5, which can go transpose into Railope or the Italian, even Petrov. So there are many lines against E4. So if you play E4, you should be following all those lines, and if you want to avoid those lines, you have to go with D4. So that's why I prefer D4. Less theory, more positional knowledge. Yeah, yeah. So that's the thing. I play D4. That's why with white pieces, D4 is my favorite, and with black pieces, uh, against E4, I 90% of it, my game I play C5, that is Sicilian can variation, Sicilian can. Uh, Sometimes I play French, sometimes I play Caro can, and yeah, French and Caro can I mostly play in rapid games, not in classical. Classical I play C5, E4, C5, and for that and rapid and blitz game I play E6, C6, Caro can or French. And against the D4, I play Queen's Indian or King's Indian. These two are my favorite openings. Sometimes I play Ninjo as well. Ninjo Indian, that is the bishop B4. Some sidelines I prefer A5, Queen E7, B6, C5, this type of line against the Ninjo Indian. Yeah. So there's one puzzle which I want you to solve. Set. Yeah, King's Indian, very sharp. You should have thorough preparation if you play King's Indian. Right. Later on, I will try to share some of the ideas with King's Indian. How should you play King's Indian? What type of plan you should keep in your mind? So, some later on, I will try to give a session on King's Indian. So this is the position, and it is white to play here. So what is the key factor in this position? If you at first glance, what did you see in this position? Just write down. What are the key factors? What did you think? Because if you calculate materially, everything is equal. 6 pawns, 2 minor piece, 1 queen, 1 rook. Everything is equal. But what is that in favor of white's position in this case? Just write down that. That means that factors. What do you think? Not the move, but the factors. Move you can think later on. King side attack and some weak squares like d7. Yeah, king side attack. So basically, white is attacking and black is defending. So when you are attacking, your all the pieces should be on that attack. All the pieces should be supporting your attack. If you see black's position, uh, this rook is knight and this bishop. These three pieces are defending black's king. But this queen is out of play. Basically, this is out of play because this is blocked by this bishop. And this diagonal is also blocked by his pawn on d4. So positionally, if you understand that black's queen on b6 is temporarily out of play. So how will you take advantage of this? How will you take advantage of this defense of this black's piece, which is out of play and which is not doing much, which is not defending nor even attacking? So now you have to think the move. Now you have to find the move, winning move for white. Not don't tell me just one move, just tell me the sequence, entire sequence. Many isolated pawns, rook and queens are less active. Good. Rook is doing a job in defending the f7 square, because if you see this knight is attacking and the bishop is attacking this square on f7 pawn. So the rook is doing his job. Rook is defending. Knight is also defending the king side. Bishop is also keeping an attack on e5 knight. His only piece which is out of play or which is not playing much role, that is queen on b6. So this piece is badly placed. So again, if you remember, there is one principle. You should always look for your less active piece or badly placed piece, and you should try to bring that piece into play or make that piece active. But it is white to play. So obviously, in this case, black, it's not possible for black to bring his queen into activity. For that, we have to play queen c5, attacking this knight, and c2. But here, black is moved behind because it's white to play. And how will white take advantage of this? Now you should look for their move, the winning move for white. Not just one move, you should find the entire sequence. Just take 5 minutes or 2 to 3 minutes, not 5 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes, and try to think. See, I can give you one hint. The entire point of this attack is on f7. So whenever you are attacking something, you should identify the weakness first. So here in black's position, the weakness is on f7. So how will you take advantage of this. Knight f7, rook a8. If rook f8, then bishop f8. Rook a8, bishop f8. Uh, Knight f7. Okay. Yes. Knight f7 is correct. Knight f7. Knight f7, rook f7. The rook is pinned. Now the rook cannot move. If this knight could not have been on f6, then I would have played queen d5. What will happen? See, if you take takes, see rook a8 doesn't work because of bishop f8. and black is completely safe now. Okay. Uh, so see, if this knight would not have been on f6, I would have played queen d5. Sorry, sorry, not d6. I would have played queen d5, and how will black be able to protect his rook on f7? This is gone. Uh, no way black can protect his rook on f7. So, but problem is I cannot play my queen d5 because the knight is on f6. So I have to look for some other square. This is known as positional play. So you are trying to find squares from where this queen can attack this rook, because once you attack this rook, one of your pieces is already attacking this rook. So if other piece joins and able to attack this rook, then how will black try to save it? It's not possible for black. So we have to find the move now. Now think for a while and so there is hint on this only. If you're not able to play queen d5 because the knight is on f6, so you have to look for some other square. Yeah, queen f5, good. So queen f5. Idea is I want to go to e6 from where this rook will be under double attack, and black has no defense on f7. So queen f5 is the correct move. So even if you try to bring your queens, let's say b8, then also I can play queen e6, e6. If he plays queen f8, I can simply like uh, if he plays queen f8, I can see if rook a works. Does rook a work to play queen f7 check, king f8. No, it doesn't work. Go back. He plays queen b8. How can you exploit queen f? But bishop moves where? Ah, okay, 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 okay. Bishop moves to f8. If the bishop moves to f8, then I have this g5, g5. The knight moves, then queen f7, and if not, then I can capture the knight, and later on I can capture the bishop. I will be exchanger. White will be an exchanger. I am trying to find queen b8. What will happen? Black is queen to b8. Uh, oh, still I can play g5. Yeah. I can still play g5 because this knight is pinned. This knight moves. The rook is hanging on f7. And if not, then I can simply capture this knight. So yeah, bishop d5, bishop d5, move number, like which move? Bishop d5. After queen b8, you are saying. After queen b8 is g5. If black plays any of the moves, g5 is coming. G5 is the immediate threat. Okay. So here black played g6. Black played g6. Queen e6. And there is no way he can protect his move. So king g7, queen f7 is winning. King h6. And white is an exchange up. Can play bishop e6. Bishop e6 supporting the g4 pawn. h5, h4 push. And maybe idea is g5. Okay, so that's all about today. So for next class, I will show you a game on Kings India. Depends how to plan in Kings India and how to what type of setup you should have in Kings India and what type of plan you should have. So all that we will discuss in the next class. And before that, I would like you to solve this type of puzzle, few tactical puzzles. Please solve it before the next class and don't use engine. So bye bye. Why didn't I take the knight? Which move? Ah, I can take this knight now, but like, no, I cannot take this knight. I cannot take this knight. If I take, there is a discover attack. Okay, discover check and my queen is hanging. Be careful, Nilesh. Before capturing, be careful. Don't be in a hurry. So there is a discover chance. You are placing your piece in front of your opponent's two most major pieces. Your king is on black square. If this king maybe on some white squares, then knight queen f6 is possible. Be careful before playing such move. Okay, that's all about today. We will discuss in the next class. Bye bye.